This training is provided by SafeShield. We're a professional training provider that specializes in cybersecurity, compliance, risk management, and AI governance. Our goal is to give professionals the knowledge and skills required to advance their careers and get ahead of the competition. This free course is part of that goal. We want to make trusted, high-quality education accessible and to support the development of responsible practices in new and emerging fields such as AI governance. The NIST Artificial Intelligence Risk Management Framework, commonly referred to as the NIST AI RMF, is a voluntary framework developed to help organizations manage risks associated with the design, development, deployment, and use of artificial intelligence systems. It was published by the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology in response to increasing concerns about the safety, trustworthiness, and societal impacts of AI technologies. The framework provides a structured approach for identifying, assessing, prioritizing, and mitigating AI-related risks across the entire AI lifecycle. Artificial intelligence systems introduce new categories of risk that differ in nature, scale, and speed from traditional information technology risks. These risks include issues related to bias and discrimination, lack of transparency, model robustness, security vulnerabilities, data quality, and unintended consequences that may affect individuals, organizations, and society. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework recognizes that these risks cannot be managed effectively through technical controls alone and require coordinated governance, organizational processes, and accountability mechanisms. The framework is designed to be flexible, technology neutral, and adaptable to different organizational contexts. It applies to organizations of all sizes, across sectors, and at varying levels of AI maturity. The framework does not prescribe specific tools or technologies. Instead, it defines outcomes and activities that organizations can tailor based on their risk profile, regulatory environment, and business objectives. This course introduces the structure, principles, and practical application of the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. Emphasis is placed on how the framework supports responsible AI practices, complements other standards and regulations, and can be operationalized within existing governance, risk management, and compliance programs. The primary purpose of the NIST AI Risk Management Framework is to support organizations in developing and deploying artificial intelligence systems that are trustworthy. Trustworthy AI is defined through characteristics such as validity, reliability, safety, security, resilience, accountability, transparency, explainability, privacy protection, and fairness. The framework translates these high-level trust characteristics into actionable risk management practices. A core objective of the NIST AI Risk Management Framework is to provide a common language for discussing AI risks across technical, legal, operational, and executive stakeholders. AI risk management often suffers from fragmented ownership, where data scientists, engineers, compliance teams, and business leaders operate in silos. The framework addresses this challenge by offering shared concepts, categories, and functions that align multidisciplinary efforts. Another objective is to integrate AI risk management into enterprise risk management rather than treating it as a standalone or experimental activity. The framework encourages organizations to embed AI risk considerations into existing governance structures, decision-making processes, and lifecycle management practices. This approach supports consistency, accountability, and scalability as AI adoption increases. The framework also aims to support innovation by reducing uncertainty. Clear risk management practices enable organizations to deploy AI systems with greater confidence, knowing that potential harms are identified, assessed, and addressed in a systematic manner. Risk management is positioned as an enabler of responsible innovation rather than a barrier. Finally, the NIST AI Risk Management Framework is intended to complement evolving regulatory and standards landscapes. While it is not a compliance framework, it provides a foundation that can support alignment with emerging AI regulations, sector-specific requirements, and international standards. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework applies broadly to artificial intelligence systems across their full life cycle. This life cycle includes planning and design, data collection and preparation, model development and training, testing and validation, deployment, operation, monitoring, and retirement. The framework recognizes that risks can emerge or evolve at any stage and must be managed continuously rather than addressed as a one-time exercise. The framework is applicable to a wide range of AI use cases, from simple rule-based automation to complex machine learning and generative AI systems. It covers systems that are developed internally, acquired from third parties, or integrated as part of larger products and services. The framework explicitly acknowledges supply chain and vendor-related risks as part of the AI ecosystem. Organizational applicability is intentionally broad. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework can be adopted by private companies, public sector organizations, nonprofits, academic institutions, and startups. It is designed to scale based on organizational size, AI maturity, and risk exposure. Smaller organizations may implement a subset of practices, while larger enterprises may establish dedicated AI governance structures. The framework is also sector agnostic. It can be applied in regulated industries such as healthcare, finance, and transportation, as well as in less regulated domains. Sector-specific guidance and regulations can be layered on top of the framework without conflict. Importantly, the framework applies to both AI developers and AI deployers. Organizations that do not build AI models but rely on AI-enabled products or services are still responsible for understanding and managing associated risks. This shared responsibility model is a central theme of the framework. Trustworthiness is a foundational concept in the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. The framework defines AI risks as factors that can negatively affect the trustworthiness of AI systems. Managing AI risk is therefore positioned as the primary mechanism for achieving trustworthy AI outcomes. Trustworthy AI characteristics include technical properties such as accuracy, robustness, security, and reliability, as well as socio-technical properties such as fairness, transparency, explainability, and respect for privacy. These characteristics are interdependent and may involve trade-offs. Improving one characteristic may introduce risks to another, requiring informed decision-making. The framework emphasizes that trustworthiness is context-dependent. An AI system considered trustworthy in one application may be unacceptable in another due to differences in impact severity, affected stakeholders, or regulatory expectations. Risk tolerance must therefore be defined in relation to specific use cases and organizational objectives. Risk is framed broadly to include harms to individuals, groups, organizations, ecosystems, and society. This includes physical harm, psychological harm, economic loss, discrimination, erosion of rights, and loss of public trust. The framework encourages organizations to consider both direct and indirect impacts, as well as intended and unintended consequences. By linking trustworthiness to risk management, the NIST AI Risk Management Framework moves beyond abstract ethical principles and provides a practical structure for implementation. Trust is treated as an outcome of effective governance, measurement, and control rather than a subjective claim. This approach aligns trustworthiness with accountability and evidence-based decision-making. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework is organized around two core components: the AI RMF core and the AI RMF profiles. The core defines a set of high-level functions, categories, and subcategories that describe desired outcomes for managing AI risks. Profiles allow organizations to tailor the core to specific contexts, use cases, or maturity levels. The AI RMF core consists of four primary functions: govern, map, measure, and manage. These functions represent distinct but interconnected activities that collectively support AI risk management. They are not intended to be followed sequentially, but to operate as a continuous and iterative cycle. Each function is broken down into categories and subcategories that describe specific outcomes. Informative references may be associated with these subcategories to provide examples of standards, guidelines, or practices that can support implementation. These references are illustrative rather than mandatory. The framework intentionally avoids prescriptive controls. Instead, it focuses on outcomes that organizations should achieve, leaving flexibility in how those outcomes are met. This design supports innovation, adaptation to different technologies, and alignment with existing frameworks. AI RMF profiles serve as practical implementation tools. A current profile documents the organization's existing AI risk management practices, while a target profile defines desired outcomes. Gaps between profiles inform improvement plans and prioritization. This structure enables organizations to operationalize AI risk management in a structured yet adaptable manner, supporting continuous improvement and alignment with broader governance objectives. The govern function establishes the organizational foundations for managing AI risks. It focuses on policies, processes, roles, responsibilities, and oversight mechanisms that enable effective decision-making and accountability across the AI lifecycle. Governance is positioned as an enabling function that influences all other AI risk management activities. Key outcomes of the govern function include defined AI risk management policies, clear accountability structures, documented roles and responsibilities, and leadership commitment. Governance mechanisms ensure that AI-related decisions align with organizational values, legal obligations, and risk appetite. The govern function emphasizes the importance of cross-functional collaboration. Effective AI governance requires coordination between technical teams, legal and compliance functions, risk management, human resources, and executive leadership. Governance structures should support escalation, review, and approval processes for high-risk AI use cases. Risk appetite and tolerance are central governance elements. Organizations are encouraged to define acceptable levels of AI risk and to establish criteria for approving, modifying, or rejecting AI systems. These decisions should be documented and revisited as technologies and contexts evolve. The govern function also addresses external accountability. This includes transparency towards stakeholders, mechanisms for addressing complaints or incidents, and readiness for audits or regulatory inquiries. Governance is therefore linked to both internal control and external trust. Without effective governance, technical risk controls are likely to be inconsistent, reactive, or misaligned. The govern function provides the structure needed to sustain AI risk management over time. The map function focuses on understanding the context in which an AI system operates and identifying potential risks associated with that context. It establishes a shared understanding of the system's purpose, intended use, stakeholders, and potential impacts. This understanding forms the basis for informed risk assessment and decision-making. Mapping activities include defining the AI system's objectives, capabilities, and limitations. This involves documenting what the system is designed to do, what it should not do, and the assumptions underlying its operation. Clear system boundaries reduce ambiguity and unmanaged risk. Stakeholder identification is a critical aspect of the map function. Stakeholders may include end users, individuals affected by system outputs, internal operators, regulators, and broader communities. Different stakeholders may experience different types and levels of risk. The map function also requires consideration of the operational environment. This includes technical infrastructure, data sources, deployment conditions, and interactions with other systems. Environmental factors can significantly influence risk exposure. Potential impacts are assessed across multiple dimensions, including safety, fairness, privacy, security, and societal effects. Both foreseeable misuse and unintended consequences are considered. The severity and likelihood of harms inform prioritization. The map function does not attempt to quantify risk in detail. Instead, it establishes the qualitative foundation needed for meaningful measurement and management. Incomplete or inaccurate mapping can undermine all subsequent risk management efforts. The measure function addresses the evaluation, analysis, and monitoring of AI risks. It focuses on assessing the characteristics of AI systems and their performance in relation to defined risk criteria. Measurement provides evidence to support risk-informed decisions and governance oversight. Measurement activities include testing, validation, verification, and monitoring of AI systems. These activities may assess accuracy, robustness, bias, explainability, security vulnerabilities, and other relevant attributes. Measurement methods should be appropriate to the system's context and impact level. The framework emphasizes that measurement is not a one-time activity. AI systems may degrade over time due to data drift, changing environments, or evolving usage patterns. Continuous monitoring is therefore essential to detect emerging risks and trigger corrective actions. Both quantitative and qualitative measures are relevant. Quantitative metrics may include error rates, fairness indicators, or security test results. Qualitative assessments may include expert reviews, stakeholder feedback, or ethical impact evaluations. Uncertainty is explicitly acknowledged. Measurement results may be incomplete or imperfect, particularly for complex or opaque models. The framework encourages transparency about limitations and confidence levels in measurement outcomes. Measurement supports accountability by generating evidence that can be reviewed, audited, and communicated. Without reliable measurement, risk management decisions rely on assumptions rather than demonstrable performance. The manage function focuses on prioritizing, responding to, and mitigating AI risks based on the insights generated through mapping and measurement. It translates risk understanding into concrete actions and decisions across the AI lifecycle. Risk treatment options may include modifying system design, implementing technical controls, adjusting operational procedures, enhancing human oversight, or restricting system use. In some cases, risk acceptance or system decommissioning may be appropriate. The framework emphasizes proportionality. Risk responses should be commensurate with the severity and likelihood of potential harms. High-impact AI systems require stronger controls and oversight than low-risk applications. Change management is a key aspect of the manage function. AI systems often evolve through updates, retraining, or integration with new components. Risk management processes must address changes in a structured manner to prevent unintended consequences. Incident response and remediation are also addressed. Organizations should have procedures to detect, investigate, and respond to AI-related incidents. Lessons learned should feed back into governance and improvement processes. The manage function reinforces the iterative nature of the NIST AI risk management framework. Risk management is continuous, with feedback loops connecting governance, mapping, measurement, and management activities. This cycle supports resilience and adaptability in dynamic environments. AI RMF profiles are tools that help organizations apply the framework in a structured and context-specific manner. A profile represents a selected set of outcomes from the AI RMF core that align with organizational objectives, risk tolerance, and regulatory requirements. A current profile documents existing AI risk management practices. It provides a baseline view of how AI risks are currently governed, mapped, measured, and managed. This assessment may reveal strengths, gaps, and inconsistencies across the organization. A target profile defines desired outcomes. It reflects where the organization intends to be in terms of AI risk management maturity and control. Target profiles are influenced by factors such as industry regulations, stakeholder expectations, and strategic priorities. Comparing current and target profiles enables gap analysis. Identified gaps inform action plans, resource allocation, and prioritization. This structured approach supports incremental and measurable improvement. Profiles can be developed for specific AI systems, business units, or use cases. This flexibility allows organizations to address varying risk levels without imposing uniform controls across all AI activities. Profiles also support communication with stakeholders. They provide a clear and documented view of AI risk management posture, facilitating internal alignment and external assurance. Integration with enterprise risk management is a central expectation of the NIST AI risk management framework. AI risks are not isolated technical concerns. They intersect with operational, legal, compliance, reputational, and strategic risks that organizations already manage through established enterprise risk management processes. Treating AI risk separately creates fragmentation and weakens oversight. The framework encourages organizations to incorporate AI risks into existing risk governance structures, such as risk committees, internal control frameworks, and executive reporting mechanisms. This integration ensures consistent prioritization, escalation, and decision-making across all risk domains. AI risks should be assessed using criteria that are compatible with enterprise risk taxonomies while still reflecting AI-specific characteristics, such as uncertainty, scale, and potential societal impact. Risk ownership plays a critical role in this integration. Clear accountability for AI risks must be assigned, with defined responsibilities for identification, assessment, mitigation, and monitoring. These responsibilities should align with existing risk ownership models rather than creating parallel structures. Integration also supports more effective resource allocation. When AI risks are evaluated alongside other enterprise risks, organizations can make informed decisions about investments, controls, and risk treatment strategies. This approach reduces duplication and avoids inconsistent risk responses. By embedding AI risk management into enterprise risk management, organizations reinforce governance coherence, improve transparency for leadership, and strengthen their ability to manage AI responsibly at scale. The NIST AI risk management framework is designed to align with existing standards, frameworks, and regulatory approaches rather than replace them. Its outcome-based structure allows organizations to map AI risk management activities to multiple external requirements without conflicting guidance. Alignment with international standards, such as ISO-based management systems, supports consistency across governance domains. Concepts such as lifecycle management, continual improvement, documented processes, and leadership accountability are shared across these frameworks. This alignment allows organizations to leverage existing governance capabilities when addressing AI risks. The framework also complements regulatory initiatives related to artificial intelligence. While the NIST AI risk management framework does not define legal obligations, it provides structured risk management practices that support regulatory readiness. Organizations can use the framework to demonstrate due diligence, traceability, and responsible decision-making when responding to regulatory inquiries. Sector-specific guidance can be layered onto the framework as needed. This flexibility supports adoption in highly regulated environments such as healthcare, finance, and transportation, as well as in emerging or less regulated domains. Alignment reduces fragmentation across governance initiatives and enables organizations to maintain a coherent AI risk posture across jurisdictions, standards, and oversight expectations. AI risks emerge and evolve throughout the entire life cycle of an artificial intelligence system. The NIST AI risk management framework emphasizes lifecycle-based risk management to address this dynamic nature. Risks introduced during early stages may propagate if left unmanaged, increasing downstream impact. During planning and design, governance decisions define acceptable use cases, risk tolerance, and system objectives. Mapping activities at this stage help identify potential impacts related to safety, fairness, privacy, and security. Early identification enables preventive controls rather than reactive mitigation. Development and training stages introduce additional risks related to data quality, representativeness, model selection, and validation. Measurement activities, such as testing and evaluation, provide evidence about system behavior and limitations before deployment. Deployment and operation introduce contextual risks. User behavior, environmental changes, and integration with other systems can affect outcomes. Continuous monitoring becomes essential to detect drift, misuse, or emerging harms. Lifecycle-based risk management also includes system modification and retirement. Changes to models or data pipelines must be assessed for new risks, and decommissioning must address data handling and residual impacts. This holistic approach supports sustainable and responsible AI use. Human oversight is a foundational element of trustworthy AI as defined by the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. AI systems operate within human-defined objectives, constraints, and values. Effective oversight ensures that responsibility for AI outcomes remains with the organization rather than being implicitly delegated to technology. Oversight structures require clearly defined roles and responsibilities. Individuals or teams must be accountable for approving AI use cases, monitoring system performance, and intervening when risks exceed acceptable thresholds. Authority to pause, modify, or discontinue AI systems must be explicit and supported by governance processes. Different oversight models apply, depending on risk and impact. Some systems require direct human involvement in decision-making, while others rely on supervisory review or post-decision audits. The chosen approach should reflect the severity of potential harm and the system's level of autonomy. Accountability mechanisms also support transparency and trust. Documented oversight actions provide evidence that AI systems are managed responsibly and in alignment with organizational policies. Human oversight reinforces ethical judgment, contextual awareness, and adaptability, all of which remain essential despite advances in automation. Transparency and explainability are essential elements of effective AI risk management and trustworthy AI governance. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework treats these concepts as operational requirements that support accountability, oversight, and informed decision-making, rather than abstract ethical ideals. Transparency enables stakeholders to understand how and why AI systems are used, while explainability supports the ability to assess and challenge AI-driven outcomes. Transparency involves clear documentation and communication regarding an AI system's purpose, scope, intended use, and limitations. Internal transparency supports governance activities such as risk assessment, approval, monitoring, and audit. External transparency enables users, affected individuals, and regulators to understand how AI systems influence decisions that may affect them. The appropriate level of transparency depends on the system's risk profile, impact, and audience. Explainability focuses on providing meaningful insight into how AI systems produce outputs. This may include explanations of key factors influencing decisions, model behavior under certain conditions, or known limitations. High-impact or high-risk AI systems typically require stronger explainability to support oversight, dispute resolution, and accountability. Trade-offs often exist between explainability, performance, and system complexity. These trade-offs should be explicitly assessed and documented through governance processes. When full explainability is not feasible, residual risks must be acknowledged and managed rather than ignored. Transparency and explainability also support incident response and continuous improvement. Clear understanding of system behavior enables faster diagnosis of issues and more effective remediation. By embedding transparency and explainability into governance practices, organizations strengthen trust, accountability, and responsible AI use over time. Fairness and bias represent some of the most visible and socially impactful risks associated with artificial intelligence systems. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework treats fairness as a risk domain that must be actively identified, measured, and managed throughout the AI lifecycle. Bias is not limited to model behavior alone. It can emerge from data collection practices, labeling processes, feature selection, system design choices, deployment contexts, and user interactions. Effective fairness risk management begins with contextual understanding. Different use cases involve different populations, decision consequences, and legal or ethical expectations. What constitutes acceptable performance in one context may be unacceptable in another. Organizations must therefore define fairness criteria that are specific to the AI system's purpose and impact rather than relying on generic metrics. The framework encourages organizations to identify affected individuals and groups early in the life cycle. This includes direct users and those indirectly impacted by AI-driven decisions. Mapping these stakeholders allows organizations to anticipate disparate outcomes and document potential harms before deployment. Measurement activities include quantitative bias testing, comparative outcome analysis, and qualitative reviews involving domain experts. Measurement results should be interpreted carefully, as fairness metrics often involve trade-offs and assumptions. Transparency about limitations and uncertainty is essential. Risk management actions may involve data remediation, model retraining, threshold adjustments, increased human oversight, or constraints on system use. Fairness risk management is an ongoing process that must evolve as data, models, and societal expectations change. Artificial intelligence systems frequently rely on large volumes of data, including personal and sensitive information. This dependency introduces privacy and data protection risks that must be addressed systematically. The NIST AI risk management framework integrates privacy considerations into AI risk management rather than treating them as a separate compliance exercise. Privacy risks can arise at multiple stages of the AI lifecycle. During data collection, risks may include excessive data gathering, unclear consent mechanisms, or the use of data for purposes beyond original intent. During development and training, risks may involve re-identification, inference of sensitive attributes, or unauthorized data access. Deployment and monitoring introduce additional concerns related to data retention, secondary use, and system misuse. The framework encourages organizations to map how data flows through AI systems, identifying where personal data is processed, stored, shared, or transformed. This mapping supports informed decisions about data minimization, access controls, and retention periods. Measurement activities assess how effectively privacy controls operate in practice. This may include reviews of anonymization techniques, access logs, model behavior analysis, and compliance with applicable data protection requirements. Measurement results should be documented and reviewed as part of governance oversight. Risk management actions include technical safeguards, policy enforcement, contractual controls with third parties, and user transparency mechanisms. Privacy risk management supports trust, regulatory alignment, and responsible AI deployment by ensuring that data practices remain proportional, lawful, and accountable. Security and resilience are critical components of trustworthy artificial intelligence. AI systems introduce new attack surfaces and threat vectors that differ from traditional information systems. The NIST AI risk management framework addresses these challenges by integrating AI-specific security risks into broader risk management practices. Security risks affecting AI systems include adversarial attacks, data poisoning, model inversion, unauthorized access, and supply chain compromise. These risks can undermine system integrity, reliability, and safety, leading to incorrect or harmful outcomes. Resilience focuses on the system's ability to maintain acceptable performance under adverse conditions and recover from incidents. Mapping activities identify security dependencies across the AI lifecycle, including data sources, training pipelines, deployment environments, and third-party components. Understanding these dependencies enables more effective threat modeling and control selection. Measurement activities include robustness testing, vulnerability assessments, monitoring of anomalous behavior, and evaluation of system performance under stress or attack scenarios. Measurement results should reflect realistic operating conditions rather than idealized test environments. Risk management actions may include secure development practices, access controls, model monitoring, incident response integration, and redundancy mechanisms. Security and resilience measures should scale with system criticality and potential impact. By addressing security risks proactively, organizations reduce operational disruptions, protect stakeholders, and reinforce confidence in AI-enabled processes. Artificial intelligence systems frequently depend on third-party components, including datasets, pre-trained models, cloud platforms, development tools, and fully managed AI services. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework recognizes that these dependencies introduce supply chain risks that require explicit and ongoing management. Reliance on external providers does not transfer responsibility for AI outcomes away from the deploying organization. Third-party AI risks arise when organizations have limited visibility into how external components are designed, trained, tested, governed, or updated. Gaps in transparency can obscure issues related to data quality, bias, security controls, intellectual property, or regulatory compliance. These risks may change over time as vendors modify models, data sources, or operating practices. The framework encourages organizations to map AI supply chains across the entire lifecycle. This mapping identifies critical dependencies, interfaces, and points of shared responsibility. Clear definition of roles and accountability is essential, including responsibility for risk assessment, monitoring, incident response, and remediation when third-party components are involved. Measurement activities support ongoing oversight of third-party AI risks. These activities may include vendor risk assessments, review of technical and governance documentation, contractual audits, and monitoring of system performance and production. Evidence provided by vendors should be evaluated critically and updated regularly rather than accepted as static assurances. Risk management actions include contractual safeguards, service-level requirements, data protection clauses, and escalation mechanisms. Ongoing monitoring of third-party performance is necessary to detect emerging risks. Effective supply chain risk management reduces hidden exposure, strengthens resilience, and supports accountable AI deployment in complex ecosystems. Documentation and record-keeping are essential components of effective AI governance under the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. They provide objective evidence that AI risks have been identified, assessed, and managed in a structured, accountable, and repeatable manner. Without adequate documentation, AI risk management becomes informal, difficult to verify, and highly dependent on individual knowledge rather than organizational processes. Relevant documentation spans the entire AI lifecycle. This includes system descriptions, intended use definitions, data sources, design and model selection decisions, risk assessments, testing and validation results, governance approvals, monitoring outputs, and incident records. Documentation should also capture changes over time, such as model updates, retraining events, modifications to deployment contexts, and changes in risk acceptance decisions. These records enable traceability and support informed oversight. The framework emphasizes proportionality. Documentation practices should reflect the risk level and potential impact of the AI system. High-impact or high-risk systems require more detailed and formal records, while lower-risk applications may rely on lighter documentation. Excessive documentation can create unnecessary burden, while insufficient documentation undermines accountability and auditability. Record-keeping supports internal governance by enabling management and oversight bodies to review decisions, verify compliance with policies, and assess the effectiveness of controls. It also supports external assurance activities, including audits, regulatory reviews, and responses to stakeholder inquiries. Beyond compliance, documentation enables organizational learning. Historical records of incidents, performance issues, and remediation actions provide valuable insights for improving future AI design, governance practices, and risk management maturity. Artificial intelligence systems operate in environments that change over time, introducing new risks even after careful design and testing. Data distributions evolve, user behavior shifts, and external factors, such as regulatory expectations, or operational constraints may affect system performance. The NIST AI risk management framework addresses this dynamic context by emphasizing monitoring and continuous improvement as core elements of responsible AI governance. Monitoring focuses on observing AI system behavior during operation to detect deviations from expected performance and risk thresholds. This includes tracking accuracy, stability, bias indicators, security signals, and usage patterns relevant to the system's intended purpose. Monitoring mechanisms should be defined during governance and mapping activities so that they align with identified risks and impact levels. Measurement outputs from monitoring activities provide evidence for decision-making. When indicators exceed predefined thresholds, organizations should initiate structured reviews rather than relying on informal judgment. These reviews help determine whether observed issues represent isolated anomalies, environmental changes, or systemic weaknesses that require intervention. Continuous improvement builds on insights gained through monitoring and review. Improvement actions may include retraining models with updated data, refining decision thresholds, strengthening human oversight, or revising policies and controls. These actions should be documented and approved through established governance processes to maintain accountability. The framework emphasizes feedback loops connecting operational monitoring with governance oversight. Information from ongoing operations informs risk reassessment, control effectiveness evaluation, and strategic planning. Continuous improvement ensures that AI risk management practices remain effective as technologies, data, and societal expectations evolve, supporting resilience and sustained trustworthiness over time. Artificial intelligence systems can generate incidents that extend beyond traditional IT failures, including harmful decisions, unintended discriminatory outcomes, security breaches, misuse, or loss of control over system behavior. The NIST AI risk management framework emphasizes the need for structured incident response and remediation processes that are specifically adapted to the characteristics of AI systems. Effective incident management begins with preparedness. Organizations should define what constitutes an AI-related incident, establish severity classification criteria, and integrate AI scenarios into existing incident response frameworks. Clear roles and responsibilities are essential. Accountability for investigation, decision-making, communication, and remediation must be assigned in advance, including authority to suspend, restrict, or deactivate AI systems when risk thresholds are exceeded. Detection relies on monitoring and alerting mechanisms aligned with identified AI risks. Once an incident is identified, response activities include containment, impact assessment, and root cause analysis. Technical analysis may involve examining data pipelines, model behavior, or system interactions, while organizational analysis may address governance gaps, oversight failures, or process weaknesses. Remediation focuses on addressing underlying causes rather than applying temporary fixes. Corrective actions may include model retraining, data correction, changes to deployment conditions, enhancements to human oversight, or revisions to policies and controls. Remediation actions should be documented, reviewed, and approved through governance processes to ensure accountability. Incident response also includes communication. Internal stakeholders, leadership, and external parties, such as regulators or affected individuals, may require timely and accurate information. Lessons learned from incidents should feed back into risk assessments, monitoring strategies, and governance practices. Structured incident response and remediation strengthen organizational resilience, support trust, and demonstrate responsible AI management. Organizational culture plays a decisive role in the effectiveness of AI risk management. The NIST AI risk management framework recognizes that policies, controls, and technical safeguards are insufficient if they are not supported by awareness, competence, and shared responsibility across the organization. Culture influences how risks are identified, discussed, escalated, and addressed in daily practice. AI risk awareness should extend beyond data scientists and engineers to include leadership, business units, legal, compliance, and operational teams. Decisions made by non-technical stakeholders often shape AI use cases, deployment contexts, and acceptable risk levels. Training and communication initiatives should therefore provide role-appropriate understanding of AI risks, governance expectations, and individual responsibilities. Leadership behavior strongly shapes organizational attitudes toward AI risk. Clear messaging from senior management, visible accountability, and consistent reinforcement of responsible practices signal that AI risk management is a priority. Governance mechanisms should encourage early identification and escalation of concerns rather than rewarding speed or innovation at the expense of risk awareness. A risk-aware culture supports constructive challenge. Employees who understand AI risks are more likely to question assumptions, flag potential harms, and contribute to effective mitigation strategies. Psychological safety plays an important role, enabling staff to raise concerns without fear of negative consequences. The framework also emphasizes continuous learning. As AI technologies, regulations, and societal expectations evolve, organizations must update training, guidance, and awareness efforts. A strong culture of AI risk awareness enables consistent application of governance principles, supports continuous improvement, and strengthens long-term trust in AI-enabled activities across the organization. Stakeholder engagement is a critical component of effective and legitimate AI risk management. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework emphasizes the importance of engaging with stakeholders to understand potential impacts, inform governance decisions, and support accountability throughout the AI lifecycle. AI systems can affect a wide range of individuals and groups, many of whom may not be directly involved in system design or operation. Stakeholders may include end users, individuals affected by AI-driven decisions, internal teams, business partners, regulators, and, in some cases, broader communities. Each stakeholder group may experience different risks and hold different expectations regarding transparency, fairness, privacy, and accountability. Identifying relevant stakeholders early enables more informed mapping of potential impacts and risk scenarios. Engagement activities provide valuable input into risk identification and assessment. Feedback from stakeholders can reveal unintended consequences, contextual factors, or usability concerns that may not be evident through technical testing alone. Structured engagement supports more balanced decision-making and helps organizations anticipate how AI systems may be perceived and used in practice. Communication is a central aspect of engagement. Information about AI system purpose, scope, limitations, and safeguards should be communicated clearly and in accessible language. The level of detail and technical depth should be proportionate to the system's risk and the audience's needs. Opaque or overly complex communication undermines trust and accountability. Ongoing engagement supports continuous improvement. As systems evolve and operating conditions change, stakeholder feedback helps organizations reassess risks, adjust controls, and maintain alignment with societal and regulatory expectations. Effective engagement and communication strengthen governance, improve AI outcomes, and reinforce responsible use. Assessing the effectiveness of AI risk management is essential for ensuring that governance structures and controls achieve their intended outcomes. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework emphasizes regular evaluation to confirm that AI risks are being identified accurately, addressed appropriately, and monitored consistently over time. Without systematic assessment, risk management activities may become procedural rather than meaningful. Effectiveness assessment examines both processes and results. Process-focused evaluation reviews whether governance mechanisms, risk assessments, approval workflows, and monitoring activities operate as designed. Result-focused evaluation considers whether these mechanisms reduce risk exposure, prevent harm, and support trustworthy AI outcomes. Both perspectives are necessary to form a complete view. Assessment activities may include internal audits, management reviews, maturity assessments, and independent evaluations. These activities should be aligned with the organization's overall governance and assurance practices. Evidence from documentation, monitoring outputs, incident records, and stakeholder feedback supports objective evaluation rather than subjective judgment. Metrics play a supporting role in effectiveness assessment. Indicators may include control reliability, frequency and severity of incidents, timeliness of response actions, and residual risk levels. Metrics should be interpreted in context, recognizing uncertainty and limitations rather than serving as standalone proof of effectiveness. Assessment results inform leadership oversight and strategic decision-making. Identified gaps and weaknesses guide prioritization of improvement initiatives, resource allocation, and policy refinement. Documenting assessment outcomes supports transparency, traceability, and accountability. Regular effectiveness assessment reinforces continual improvement, enables adaptation to changing technologies and regulatory expectations, and strengthens confidence in the organization's ability to manage AI risks responsibly. Implementing the NIST AI risk management framework involves practical challenges that organizations must address deliberately and realistically. AI systems differ widely in purpose, complexity, and potential impact, and organizations vary significantly in their technical maturity, governance structures, and available resources. These factors influence how effectively AI risk management practices can be applied in practice. A major challenge relates to uncertainty. AI systems often exhibit probabilistic behavior, limited explainability, and sensitivity to changing contexts. Risk identification and measurement may therefore rely on incomplete data, assumptions, or evolving evidence. Governance processes must accommodate uncertainty by supporting informed judgment, documentation of assumptions, and periodic reassessment rather than seeking false precision. Resource constraints also affect implementation. Smaller organizations or early-stage AI programs may lack specialized expertise, advanced testing tools, or dedicated governance teams. The framework addresses this reality through flexibility and scalability. Organizations are encouraged to prioritize controls and oversight based on risk severity and potential impact, rather than attempting uniform implementation across all AI systems. Organizational alignment presents another limitation. Effective AI risk management requires coordination across technical, legal, compliance, and business functions. Siloed responsibilities, unclear ownership, or competing incentives can weaken governance effectiveness. Leadership commitment and clearly defined accountability are essential to overcome these challenges. Acknowledging limitations is a governance strength rather than a weakness. Documented constraints, risk acceptance decisions, and improvement plans support transparency, accountability, and progressive maturity. A realistic approach enables sustainable implementation and continuous enhancement of AI risk management capabilities over time. Adopting the NIST AI risk management framework delivers organizational benefits that extend beyond basic risk control. The framework provides a structured approach for governing artificial intelligence in a way that supports accountability, consistency, and informed decision-making across the organization. These benefits become increasingly important as AI systems expand in number, complexity, and strategic relevance. One primary benefit is governance consistency. The framework establishes a shared structure and terminology for identifying, assessing, and managing AI risks. This consistency reduces fragmented practices across departments and enables leadership to maintain clearer oversight of AI initiatives. A common framework also improves coordination between technical teams, legal and compliance functions, and business leaders. Accountability is strengthened through defined roles, documented decisions, and evidence-based assessments. Organizations can demonstrate that AI risks are actively managed rather than implicitly accepted. This capability supports internal assurance, external audits, and regulatory engagement, particularly in environments where transparency and traceability are increasingly expected. The framework also enables risk-informed innovation. By clarifying acceptable risk levels and control expectations, organizations can pursue AI use cases with greater confidence. Decision-makers gain visibility into trade-offs related to performance, fairness, security, and operational impact, enabling deliberate and defensible choices. Integration with existing enterprise risk management and governance processes improves operational efficiency. Organizations can leverage established committees, reporting mechanisms, and assurance activities while addressing AI-specific risks. Over time, this integration supports scalability, maturity, and resilience as AI systems become embedded in core business operations. Together, these benefits position organizations to use AI responsibly while maintaining strategic agility and stakeholder trust. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework provides a comprehensive and adaptable structure for managing risks associated with artificial intelligence systems. It reflects the reality that AI risks are socio-technical, context-dependent, and continuously evolving. By focusing on governance, risk identification, measurement, and response, the framework supports disciplined and accountable use of AI across organizations. The four core functions, govern, map, measure, and manage, operate as an integrated and iterative cycle. Governance establishes direction, accountability, and risk tolerance. Mapping builds a shared understanding of system context, stakeholders, and potential impacts. Measurement provides evidence about system behavior, limitations, and risk characteristics. Management translates this insight into mitigation actions, operational controls, and informed decisions. Continuous feedback across these functions enables adaptation as conditions change. Effective adoption begins with context-specific implementation. Organizations should use AI RMF profiles to document current practices, define target outcomes, and identify priority gaps. Incremental implementation aligned with risk exposure supports sustainability and avoids superficial compliance. Integration with enterprise risk management, security, privacy, and compliance programs further strengthens effectiveness. Next steps include embedding AI risk considerations into everyday decision-making, establishing ongoing monitoring and review processes, and investing in training and awareness across roles. Documentation, stakeholder engagement, and regular effectiveness assessments reinforce accountability and transparency. The framework does not eliminate risk or replace human judgment. It provides structure for making informed, defensible decisions about AI use. Through disciplined application, organizations enhance trustworthiness, resilience, and confidence in AI-enabled operations while supporting responsible innovation over time. This knowledge provides you with a strong foundation to aid you in the future, whether you apply it in your current role, pursue further study, or contribute to shaping responsible AI in your organization. By staying informed and engaged, you will play a vital role in ensuring AI develops in ways that are safe, ethical, and beneficial for society. Thank you for your time and your commitment to this learning journey. We encourage you to keep exploring and keep building toward a future where artificial intelligence serves the needs of humanity responsibly.